Hello everyone, I am Barendipidus and this is Pyre. And we are about to commence the final liberation rite. Here we are. You have gained the summit of Mount Eladio for the 7th time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The lone minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there, perhaps, some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I'm grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well, this night and always. Go forth with glory. Then he looks up and extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Wolfred has joined you. All of your companions are there with him, in fact. It is strange for me to say, given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now. Let us achieve our plan.
Oh, hi, mister. The others. They said they wanted me to join them and come talk to you, so here I am. The scribes are watching us.
Tizo wants you to know he has the utmost faith in you.
Well, reader, darling, what do you say we give those old scribes a real show to remember, then, shall we?
You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs. After this night, the outcome of Wolfred's plan, the plan of which you all have been a part, shall be decided, one way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles as the last remaining stars ignite. The stars have joined us. What does the judge, the archjudge, the voice have to say to me this time, I wonder? You but take the final steps upon your quest for freedom.
Look, for one last time, upon the fall of Sodium, dear reader. Hear me for one last time. For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite. You face none other than yourselves. Each so unlike the glorious nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
Oh man. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. But before the lone minstrel can concur as per the custom, not another word. The demon Orlek slowly raises his clawed fingers into his mask. The false nightwings have arrived at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it, here upon this mountain top. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silent. Then Orlek dons his mask and stands prepared. May these darned rites cease forever for the misery which they caused. Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus, I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or else the exile Orlek shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make the best decision, and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. It is time to decide. Time now to choose who, if anyone among you, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gazes of each of your fellow exiles. Faye, Volfred, Pamitha, Tizo, your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Together you have come this far, but now the downside and the Rites conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Are you prepared to choose this one last time? Having to make this last decision is unconscionable. It is too much. You hesitate, but then you sense a reassuring voice enter your thoughts. Do not give in, reader. Do not give in. We stand with you. The choice you are about to make, however you shall go about, and whatever the outcome, we understand. And so, you need not hesitate, and you need not explain. So please, trust in yourself. For all the rest of us, we trust in you. You reconsider what you are about to do. You cannot back down. Yep. With but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do. So, my choices are Fate, Tizo, Pamitha, but not Volfred. It is just as well. I plan to have Volfred stay here. Faye, well, she was always different, and she was cast down because she was different. It doesn't seem like it would be. She seems to like it down here, and she might even have a friend in Almer of the Fate. So, I will choose her. No! Gosh dang it. I did not mean to do that. I was... sorry. What I meant to say was, I do not want to choose her. Wow, why did I do that? Ugh. Had a brain fart there. I'm so sorry. So, what I mean to say is, I will not choose Faye because because she seemed to like it here, and she may have a friend in Almer. Volfred cannot. He is not deemed worthy enough. Tizo feels at home down here as well. Honestly, the last choice is Pamitha. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for the confusion. I just... I guess I was distracted by the fact that I was trying to upgrade her Faye's talisman, but then I was like, oh, I'll do this one. No, whatever. Alright, here we go. Here we are. I tell you that you've made a terrible mistake there, Rita darling, but I think you haven't made as many as I have, so I'll try not to mess this up for either one of us. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense the clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Pamitha as well as you. I think the ones who are the best, are the best, really. Ones I've played the best with. Blessed are the scribes who grant to me and all of us this final chance, that we might free our dear friend Pamitha. Nice. Alright, that's it then. Ready to do whatever it takes to see Pamitha regain her freedom this night. These are to be my adversaries, then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts his will over that group? You sense Orlek is searching for you, almost reaching out to you. You, the shadow of the false night wings. They are nothing to me, but you, who would relinquish your own liberty for the sake of them? Strange. It is fitting, then, that I should have to face one such as you. Then Orlek stands at the ready, signaling for his two allies to do the same. By light of dawn, the cycle of the rites shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq! I am prepared, Celeste. Then let our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it. I am disappointed to see you here, Tizo, opposing me once more. Very upset and calls for Orlek to cease speaking to him. Orlek seems to stare at the imp for a moment. It is a shame that you are caught up in the middle of all this, little one. Your mind has been poisoned against me. Insists that Orlek is wrong and urges him to stop what he is doing. I'm sorry, Tizo. Now I shall only say this to you once. Stay out of my way. Dang it! There we go. Whew. Ah, she's did some good damage there. Nice. The sky rains ash. Soon shall your pyres own mingle with them. Just then, the skies above begin to rain down fire, the final throes of the cycle of the rites, and the ending of the age. Oh gosh. What? Good thing I have what I have, huh? Humph. So the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you! Nice. One more. Orlek stands breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smoldering pyre, before turning his attention back to your triumvirate.
How he has changed, that Orlek. Grown old and bitter all these many years. Alas,
We can weather this. There! I've actually beaten all the triumvirates now.
night wings proved their worth.
The...
Their adversaries they defeated utterly. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus the scribes have chosen.
Not bad there, reader darling. Just another night in the downside now.
You look upon Pamitha for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now the Shimmer Pool shall engulf her. Any moment now she shall return to glory and join with Volfred's agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Any moment now the cycle of the rites shall end until at least the dawn of the new age. Any moment now.
And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen.
What's going on?
No. Nightwings. Reader. What have you done?
Darn. Did we already miss our chance?
Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened, following the liberation rite and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now, all is still, and the light of the stars above has all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Orlek approaches, his head bowed. The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. A sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared again, different somehow, but open. Pamitha looks upon it, but it does not engulf her, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken, then. The 8 scribes. This is not their greatest treachery. It is their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom. Really? Orlek strides toward the Shimmer Pool, but... Halt, Orlek. Orlek glances over at the lone minstrel, almost in surprise. The Shimmer Pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside, and you shall surely drown. Of that I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this. Then we have all been cheated. No, the Shimmer Pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But, as for who returns, someone shall have to choose, ere the last light of the stars is extinguished and the rites cease to be. This is the final trial of the scribes. The final trial of the scribes. Then our confrontation, the liberation rite. It all was meaningless? No. The victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice, among those closest to the scribes, either the anointed, or he who anointed them. Then it is sounding rather like I can get out of here, though maybe you can, reader darling. Aye, it shall be either you, the reader, or... It shall be either or. Pamitha, please, make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift. Quite the dilemma, but I think I know which way I'm leaning here. Reader darling, do me a favor now and go, get out of here, before I go start having second thoughts. Pamitha wishes to give up her freedom, so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, sir, the choice which Pamitha made, or rather the choice which she gave, It is now yours to make instead. This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this. Absurd. It may, until such time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial, and I fear that there is little time remaining now. Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. Freedom ought to be more than some flirtatious trifle to exchange. Reader, what is your will? Oh gosh. Honestly, like, we got this victory, and I was a little conflicted to choose Pamela anyway. As for myself, I was expecting to stay down here. And honestly, Oralek earned his right. I'm giving it to him. Your thoughts crystallize. You have chosen Oralek. What? Oralek, do you accept the reader's choice, or shall you make another? No, I shall not make another. I accept the reader's choice. The reader's mercy. Then it is done. For a moment, Oralek seems to be at peace, and then he is gone. Oralek regained his freedom.
Was it not enough?
Even if we didn't fight against the Commonwealth, we still would only have limited opportunities, apparently. That night, the exile Oralek returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. He found the Commonwealth in a state of unrest. Spurred by the efforts of 5 liberated exiles, Wolfred Sandalwood's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles and the starless sky portended the return of the scribes. The rulers of the Commonwealth pushed back. Fighting broke out in the streets in spite of Sandalwood's intentions. It was then that the High Wing remnants chose to strike. Allegations that the High Wing remnants were in league with Sandalwood were never proven. However, there was no denying the result of the two-pronged attack. After enduring for almost a millennium, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast their people into exile, and they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this, and we remember the exiles of the downside, whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. Oh, this is where we can read everyone's story. After her liberation, Jodario soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Saurian Union. Her military prowess and experience led to key victories in clashes against Commonwealth loyalists. Each time she was able to subdue the opposition, avoiding lethal force. In the uncertain times that followed, Jodario's seasoned expertise often came into play both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people ever since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close to Hedwyn all through his experience, and they supported each other through their struggles many, many times. She often had to stop herself from fearing for Faye, whom she had tried to look after as much as possible on the downside. Soon she would reassure herself that Faye was very capable of surviving on her own, and in fact she was not mistaken. She continued training on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, and with fondness for the most part. This is a lot to read. After the final liberation rite, Lendl refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendl dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted, rather forcefully, that any evening now the stars would shine for him again, and mark the way toward his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendl the Liar was never seen again. However, there have since been sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lendl's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that a chance at freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Almer Oldheart's grasp. Thus they and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomir Valley. There they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downside tend to do. Sometime after the rites had ended, the Oldhearts at last heard the news that the Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought old Dalbert great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no love for the nation that cast him down along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake a pilgrimage to the scribes. Almer never shared his father's view of the scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes, and so, after a period of mourning, Almer began a new journey. One day during his travels, he ran almost headlong into another exile, after paying homage at the spring of Jomira. He was stunned to find this was none other than the one he knew as Faye, from their days as adversaries in the rites. Faye was overjoyed to see him, though Almer was unable to bring himself to understand why. Eventually, of course, he did. They remained together, growing ever more accustomed to their new lives in the downside. Not a day went by that Almer Oldheart did not think about his father, and gave thanks to him, and speak to him, at morning and night. Would that the stars yet shone, for surely Dalbert's would be there among them, smiling down at his son, watching over him and his kin. After the cycle of the rites had ceased, Witch Udmilda returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the pit of Melith. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time and left her to her vile work. Sometime later, the pit of Melith erupted into flame, so intense was the conflagration that it could be seen from all the way from Jomir Valley. Arson was suspected, though the cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the flames settled, and the grounds had cooled, the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of Witch Udmilda could be found. As to the contents of the pit of Melith, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Ysalk, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Saurian Union, Udmilda's repeated threats of the return of Ysalk were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. Once the rites had ended, Imp Tizo had a job to do, quite unlike most exiles trapped forever in the downside. The lone minstrel asked that he watch over the Black Wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively for travel and for shelter all throughout their quest. Tizo obliged, for he knew that wagon, as well as its drive inhabitants, perhaps better than anyone. What became of the wagon exactly was never verified as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends, or else with fellow imps. He would visit his friend Faye at every opportunity. He was among the few who could consistently interpret what he meant, and they were always close since first they met. Sandal was sometimes called for his assistance, and Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. He often chirped about the reader of the Nightwings, with whom he built quite a rapport. The reader understood him perhaps better than anyone. Indeed, Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings, and their many adventures throughout the land. That was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret for messenger imps relaying news to and from the Saurian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solace at every single chance he got. Nice. After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth, and was vital to the outcome of the plan. He was the one who led the raid on the stronghold where Archjustice Androvolus IX was holed up when the fighting grew fierce. With him, thereafter, was one of the winged harps of the High Wing Remnants, later identified as Fikani Shang. Oh, okay. Their bond was vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader in the Saurian Union, Hedwyn oft confided in his friend Jodario. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwyn would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all the friendships he made, he had pledged to Jodario, Rookie Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings they might all be free again together. He had broken that vow, for in the end not all of them were able to return. A terrible guilt over this darkened his mood for a time. Not his fault, though, really. I skipped one. Dang it. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so in turn did they oft think of him. Yes. You know what, I'm tired of reading out loud. I've been playing this for many hours today. I'm going to read silently through this, if that's alright. Very nice. Huh? Can you believe this, reader? Honestly. Sandra has appeared before you, as well you can see. They are so far from the mark with all this nonsense, I am wont to laugh. In fact, here goes. She laughs, referring to the account of her. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you at least in passing, when next they are at it.
Though they shall never know even the half of it, shall they?
Yeah. Hmm. Nice. Hmm. Hmm. I see. Oh, her hat is gone. Hmm. Nice. Nice. And a keen editor. I actually worked as an editor myself, so the fact that I, the reader in this game, is also like his editor, it's kind of cool. It's really cool, actually. Oh. And finally, well, actually two more. There is one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of him. However, some accounts of him begin to paint a picture. We know he was of common birth, weak-framed, though raised with a penchant for learning. The journey to the downside left him close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found him. They brought him from the brink. He showed them the path. He pressed onward with the others. He had made a vow to help his friends be free. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turns. When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. In the end, however, he remained in exile. From that point on, accounts of him diverge. It is said the voice which troubled him he never heard again. Some say he helped improve the lives of other downside exiles, though whether that is true only he knows. Someday, perhaps, that reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of night in all its brilliant glory. Until such time and ever after, all of us give thanks. I was aware that that last song there, as you can tell, it changes depending on how you played the game, who you helped to bring home and who stayed in the downside. And now I have heard my version of it. That was beautiful. Beautiful game, just as I expected. I am quite satisfied with what happened. Might do a few things differently if I ever play this through the campaign again, but overall, I'm very satisfied with how things turned out. This is definitely my favorite of the Supergiant games. Wow. True Nightwing campaign mode unlocked. That's the, I think that's the most difficult mode. I don't think I'm going to do that. Definitely not. But, those of you who watched me go through this, thank you for joining me on this amazing journey. Man. I've been wanting to play Pyre for a while, and I'm glad I've experienced it for myself now. Who knows, I may go back to it. If nothing else for versus mode, perhaps. But, yeah. About a year ago, I would have said this ends the trilogy of Supergiant games, but since then, Supergiant has released a fourth game. Well, I think is it more in beta right now? I don't know. Their fourth game is called Hades, which is in the Epic Game Store. I'm not going to buy that. I'm not terribly interested in the game. I mean, it looks cool. It's a Supergiant game. It does seem to be. From what I can tell, it seems to be a bit more in the vein of Transistor, with its isometric fighting and everything. And I think I've definitely had my fill of that. So, well done, Supergiant Games. This was amazing. And thank you all for watching. It was a rather exciting and, in some parts, emotional ride. So, thank you for going on this journey with me, and I wish you all the best. Until the next game.